record. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing lovely. Been a lot going on in our nation this week. First, let me do the intro. Continue. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dan. He's Brandon. Welcome to DB Presents the Underground News. But yeah, so like I was saying, it's been a lot going on. Hold up 1 second. 1 second, Brandon.
Yep.
So it's been a lot going on here for us in the United States.
Very busy week.
Oh, very busy. Very busy, but I feel very good. We had the Glenn Youngkin, first Republican governor of Virginia since 1977. Brandon, were you even born in 1977?
No, I was not. I thought he was only in for 2 terms. He's been in there since 1977?
No. He was only in for 1 term, but because in Virginia, much like the presidency, you can't run for governor twice.
Okay.
That's why the opponent was McAuliffe. He had only did 1 term, and that's why he was running again. And Youngkin had never been governor before.
No.
But I think handed him a sounding defeat. And a state that Biden won by 18 points.
That was huge. Well, it was the other governor's fault. He ended his whole election when he came out and said parents should have no say on what their children are being taught in school.
No, Brandon, no. I was watching this on mainstream media, right? It wasn't his fault.
No.
It was the fault of white supremacists.
Those damn white supremacists.
I know. And it's clear because in this very same election, Virginia elected the lieutenant governor's Black woman, right?
Yep. Marine.
And then the attorney general for, I think it's the attorney general, I forget, it's a huge office, right? Down there in Virginia. He's Hispanic. Damn white supremacists are sneaky voting in Black and Hispanics.
I know. Women Black. Marine.
Yeah, at that, yeah.
I love guns.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. She was a Marine. I saw her victory speech.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Oh yeah. Did you see the picture where she's posing with the AR-15?
Yep. Her husband's also a Marine.
Yep. So I watched on YouTube, not personally because Dan do a lot of things, but even Dan's not brave enough to watch a full episode of MSNBC.
That takes true bravery and lots of not willpower, but it's a lot.
No, willpower is the right word.
It's very painful.
If you can sit there for an hour and watch that show, that's a lot of willpower. But all they were talking about was, it's just white supremacy and white parents don't want their kids taught critical race theory. That's not even being taught. Like, so how's it about racism if it's not being taught, but white parents don't want their kids taught it? As a white parent, right? I haven't seen you in a while. I'm going to assume you're still white.
Just a little bit.
Okay. How do you feel about that? I'll tell you how I feel as a Black parent.
I don't think the government should be teaching anything beyond, math, writing, science, real science, like boys and girls and what they really are, and true biology and true history, which that's always debatable about what's true in history because the history is written by the victors. But
very true.
But the whole critical race thing, telling somebody that just got born, you got born white, you're a racist automatically, and you were born Black, so you're oppressed. There's nothing you can do about it. Your life's fucked.
You might as well just jump off a cliff.
Right? Yeah. Why even try? Yeah, no.
The interesting thing, Brandon, is that I, as a Black parent, agree completely with what you just said, right? And it looks like most of the country does too. Remember, Virginia has a Loudoun County School District. And they were infamous for shutting parents down, calling the cops, typical liberal playbook. Yeah, we're going to say what we want about you. There was one Loudoun County School District official that threatened to punch parents if they said anything to her. And of course, when parents show up to these meetings, then they call the cops and they stick the Department of Justice on them.
Yeah, they're calling them domestic terrorists.
Yes.
Just like the father that had his daughter raped in the bathroom by a transgender boy in a dress, and they covered it up.
Well, then when parents show up to ask, because I guess I was watching that, I guess it got around the community. So then when parents show up to ask about it, they say, no, it never happened. And I guess the father didn't even lose his cool, but some transgender woman behind him. I'm gonna do this on my own show. I won't do it on our show because we didn't talk about this prior beforehand. It's time to start hitting them back. It's time to start saying things like, hey, if you support transgender kids in school, you support our child rape in girls' bathrooms. But he got beat up by the cops and arrested. And that's what they want to do. They don't want you saying anything. So do they really think people are going to go for that? Maybe in these blue cities, they still will.
They're so out of touch with reality. They have no idea what's really going on. They've lost their damn minds. And they're not, you look at any, map, even Democrats, true mom and, mama bears, daddy bears, they're Democrats, but they don't want this shit to be taught to the kids. They don't want their kids being taught it's helpless. They don't want their kids to be fed all this garbage, because real moms and dads, they're not going to put up with this nonsense.
Well, people keep getting like Joanne Reed and Rachel Maddow. There's no such thing as critical race theory. It's not being taught in schools. If there's no such thing as critical race theories and it's not being taught in school, why are these parents bringing books from their kids' classrooms and showing critical race theory? It's not like they're coming empty-handed. And I think one of the things most people underestimate about critical race theory is it's also part of critical theory. And that also had umbrellas the trans boys and the girls movement, boys wearing dresses, stuff like this. It underlies that whole movement. It's all part of one movement. And so to have that taught in school to your kids and porn, and we've discussed the male transgenders in Seattle who had kids crawling all over him in the school district, trying to find out that he was a pedophile.
Yes, at the library. Yep, he was a child molester, and they had, closed doors. Parents weren't supposed to be able to attend, and just had the kids crawling all over them.
Exactly. And so for those of our subscribers, thank you for viewing. Number one, that don't know, me and Brandon worked in the same place for a long time. And here's something we always saw. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon. You would get pushed. Then when you finally laid down the law, the person in question would run crying to the RN or whoever.
Oh, yeah.
Or want to press charges on you after pushing and punching you and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, what was worse was you'd have the RN go in and starting a fight and then expect you to save them. And then when you saved them, then they turn around and say that you were the aggressor.
Yeah, and that's that's exactly what's going on with the liberal playbook right now. They're starting all these fires. We just spent 4 years of them talking about how they want to kill Trump. Remember, Snoop Dogg had the song called "Fuck Donald Trump," right?
Yep.
And now liberals are having a fit about the song "Let's Go Brandon." Let's go, Brandon. By the way,
what was it? I was just watching the thing about this. What was that actor's name? Shoot, it was at like the Emmys or the Grammys or one of those stupid shows, and he was chanting "Fuck Donald Trump, fuck Donald Trump." What was his name?
De Niro.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro. He was out there on stage, "Fuck Donald Trump," and everybody was clapping and cheering, and that's wrong. I mean that's right, but saying "Let's go Brandon" is wrong. What the hell?
I saw today where they're like, "Oh, it's a veiled threat to Joe Biden," and oh my God, how could they? It's like because the liberals are doing what they always do. They'll hurl an insult, or they'll say something. Then when you come back with force, oh my God, he hit me. It's like you hit first.
Yep.
We just hit harder.
Well, we hit correctly.
Well, correctly, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, they're doing it in a smart way. I mean, we could just be saying fuck Joe Biden, but we're actually saying let's go Brandon. So it's actually in a more correct way of doing it. Just because it stands for something else doesn't mean you're actually saying something else. So I mean, it's actually kind of classy.
Well, yeah, think about it, right? It's for me a little ridiculous, and it just really annoys me because it's like they think recent history doesn't exist. Like you just did this for 4 years. Katherine Griffin making commercials on stage, holding Trump's bloody head. And that's supposed to be cool, right? And they all thought that was just great.
Oh yeah, that's just fine. Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, I just watched a montage of people from CNN, Don Lemon included, Joy Reid, making obvious thirst towards Trump. I just watched U.S. state representatives threaten to strangle Republicans. You know what I'm saying?
Surprise me.
Yeah, well, they talk tough, but then when they run up and get their asses handed to them, they cry about it. They're still crying about January 6th. Meanwhile, the U.S., I forget which building it was, Justice Building just got overran by Antifa and climate activists. Most people don't even know that. They heard.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, this was just a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, Antifa's been taking up.
I watched it. I watched Ted Cruz question Merrick Garland on it during a Senate hearing. And Merrick Garland's like, I never heard about that. He's like, you're the head of the you're the head of the Department of Justice, and you did not know this. He was like, no, but I'll look into it. He goes, but
I'll look into it.
Yeah, he goes, but you know what parents are saying at school board meetings, really?
Exactly. We can see where your priorities are. Well,
Oh,
who is it that is actually pushing the critical race theory, but it's his son's
that is Merrick Garland.
Yeah, his son is actually profiting from this teaching.
Yeah, Merrick Garland. It's his son-in-law.
Ted Cruz, I think it was Ted Cruz, was asking, was like, hasn't anybody reviewed this with the ethics committee?
Oh, I saw that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, where he's like,
he refused to answer
it. Yeah, he's a piece of crap. But see, this is what they do. That's just why I keep saying, this is Nazi America. This is really insane. And
it's insane.
The most insane people still going for it.
They're truly pushing for socialist, communist style America. They're pushing hard. I mean, they got millions of dollars getting thrown in for this to happen. I mean, China is one of the biggest contributors. They would love to see that happen. I mean, they pretty much own our sports teams and our entertainment. So they're going to keep this coming.
Here's something I learned last week that I didn't know. Did you know we send money to China?
That we send money to China?
We send money to China. Trump stopped it. Last weekend, me and Tammy went down to see the sister and the brother-in-law, right? We're all four just sitting there talking. And Tammy actually said something very interesting that I hadn't even thought about. I probably should have. She said, well, you got to look. This coronavirus didn't come out until Trump stopped funding to China. Remember, he pulled out a World Health Organization. China was getting a lot of money from that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she goes, this is when it comes out. So I think they did it on purpose. And Tammy's from Washington. So, she leans.
That was done on purpose, at least partially. Whether they let it out on accident in their home country and then purposely spread it around the world, I believe that part fully, because if it was just them getting sick, that would cripple them. But if it's them and the whole world, then they had a fighting chance.
Well, from the way she put it, and from what my sister and brother-in-law were saying, we were all sitting there kind of talking about it, and I was just kind of listening. I'm like, I wonder if they did do this on purpose. China doesn't give a damn about its own people. They got billions, so they can lose it and not care.
Well, I'm sure they have a vaccine ready for their top individuals. Say what?
They've been talking about depopulizing for a while, so maybe they did do it on purpose. But
not just them, Bill Gates.
Well, so now we. Oh yeah, Bill Gates, man. Oh, this dude.
He's been talking about depopulation for a while.
For over 20 years now, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Dr. Fauci's been winning for about 20 years.
Well,
The,
Dr. Fauci created that virus in America and sent it over to China.
that could have very well been.
That evil motherfucker killing puppies and shit.
I saw that. That really angered me, man.
Oh, that pissed me off.
Where the hell is our taxpayer money going?
I want to know why the animal activists aren't throwing a shit fit.
Because they're all in with the liberals, bro. See, it's
That's
all part of the liberal. It's a cult.
It is a cult.
Look at the cult-like behavior. Even if you're in the cult and you say, hey, I don't think the cult leader knows what he's doing, you're out. And they're going to attack you.
Yeah, yeah. If you're not taking if you don't drink the Kool-Aid, we'll shoot you.
Yes, pretty much. And I've actually seen those threats come through on CNN, MSNBC. And it's like, it's really kind of interesting to me. The majority, I'm just going to go and say all liberals run the exact same script. I've seen it. Like the one guy did you see the Dave Chappelle special riots, protests?
I've heard about it. I heard, I heard there was a sit-in or something going on over at Netflix. Now they're suing them or whatever.
Yeah, there was a walkout. So this one guy, this goes back to liberal tactics, right? They show up, he has his sign, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's apparently BLM because he had a BLM t-shirt and all that stuff on, but he said, hey, we like Dave. That's all the sign said. They physically attacked him, took his sign. Then after they got the sign off his little wooden stick, right, they started screaming, he has a weapon, calling for cops. And I've seen
wow.
And they're learning it from the Don Lemons, the Joyanne Reeds, the Pelosi's, the Maxine Waters. They're coming out now with this Virginia governor's thing saying it's white supremacy and America's under attack. But Maxine Waters, just during the Derek Chauvin trial, told people if we don't get the verdict we want, we need to get out here in the streets and cause havoc.
Oh yeah, well she said that even before that. She was talking about we need to, if you see them at a gas station, if you see them at a restaurant,
I forgot about that. You're right. Yeah.
You need to confront them. You need to yell at them. You need to make a scene.
She said, get in their face.
Yes, get in their face.
And you
that
know,
was just like a year and a half ago.
And they can only do that in blue states. You try that shit in Texas or Florida if you want to.
Yeah, it's gonna suck real bad, real fast.
Real quick, because when the doctors are pulling lead out of your chest, sending you to a closed casket, don't say nothing. Because I believe down there, and I know it because you guys had it before we did. You have the stand your ground law. Meaning if somebody's posing you a danger and in your face, you have the right to defend yourself by whatever means you feel necessary.
I didn't know about that, but I like that.
Oh yeah, and I'm too old. I'm too fat to run. Too old to fight. And too tired not to shoot you.
Exactly.
But they can only do that in blue states, but that's what they do. And you said all the time, right now you're seeing it. This is the perfect example. You see Joy Behar doing it, Whoopi Goldberg. You know how I hate The View. Sunny Houston, I'm starting to hate her more and more. But it's the overall liberal, and this is one big broad subject. I know usually we talk about 3-4 different subjects, but it's their tactic. And you can see it everywhere. And there's prime examples of it happening now. And they're going to keep doing it. They're not going to change.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. It's like I watched Cori Bush, right?
Uh-huh.
When she was talking about why she had private security, but they want to abolish the police. Remember, she's part of that whole squad thing. Her, Ilya.
Oh, yeah.
So I know my life is important. So if I spend another $200,000 or another $200,000 on private security, it's like, but what about your constituents?
They're only important when it comes time for voting. Once they get the votes cast, they're no longer important. And if they die, their vote will still come through.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
You're a voter till through the grave.
Maybe that's why they're making crime higher in these blue cities. Did you know? I did not know this till today. Actually, late last night, that the Austin city murder rate. Now, Austin had a vote today or yesterday, right? on whether to, because last year they defunded their police, a vote on whether to refund the police. The Austin Democratic City Council said no, but their murder rate is up 88%.
I heard that. I heard they were on Fox News. They were talking about how the other medias are saying all the crime is down except for murder. It's like, well, good. That's great. I'm glad someone's not going to fucking steal my car, even though they might shoot me in the face for no fucking reason.
Well, see, that may be the stats, but you have roving gangs of catalytic converter thieves.
Well, you know what I think it is? It's not that the crimes aren't happening, is they're not being arrested. They're not actually being charged. So if someone's not charged with the crime, then the crime didn't happen.
Ooh, that's a very good point, Brandon. I think you're right.
Yeah, it is. If there's not being documented, what happened at the hospital or wherever? If it wasn't documented, it never happened. Remember
That's
that?
very true. Yes, I remember it clearly.
Yeah.
You didn't write it, it didn't happen.
Exactly.
So and that's probably why it was really the only thing being reported, because people are also now talking about what's the point of calling the cops? They don't have the people to gun. Unlike where now
We got a glitchiness going on. We got a glitchiness. Lost you for about 20 seconds. You're back now.
Okay, so let me get us a good start point. We'll work on it. So yes, even in Austin, it's the same playbook. Mess things up and then whine and cry when somebody says something about it and blame on white supremacy. Everything's not white supremacy.
No.
You're not under attack. I mean, they have a January 6th commission, and I haven't even heard a blip about this other federal building being taken over, because it was taken over by liberals. But if you say something about it, you're threatening and you're attacking. I'm telling you, it reminds me of the high school bully, or like the kind of patience we were talking about. Talk shit, punch you, then you step up and then they cry foul.
Well, that is everything that the Democrats do. Because they know it works.
It works, and it never, try something new. I watched this one with, it was the Rachel Maddow, Joyanne Reed one, where they're like, oh, he weaves subtle white supremacy. And all these newly elected minorities in Virginia, right? They're all Republicans, right? Yep. That's the kicker. They all are white supremacists. And they weave. It's no, he talked to the policies. He told parents he's going to give you school choice. You have a say in your school board, and he's not going to send the Department of Justice after you. That was kind of big. And then think about it. Remember Virginia here, I'm a big 2A supporter. In Virginia here a couple of years ago, you had a slew of gun rights trying to be taken. They managed to fight it off. So now your lieutenant governor is posing for her campaign picture with an AR-15.
Yes, that was pretty nice.
Did you see the other one over in Virginia?
No.
There was a guy, Brandon, that spent literally under $200. Went against an incumbent. The incumbent had big tons of money donations, and he almost won.
Was that the guy that did that? It was a write-in. Everybody had to write his name in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spent almost
$200. That's awesome.
That should speak clearly to their policy, but see, they won't acknowledge that. It's always going to be just white supremacy. It really sets to the liberal mind state of something's been done to me, I'm doing something. It's happening to me. What's happening? I
can't do anything because I'm a victim. I'm a
right,
victim,
exactly.
So it's not my fault. I'm a victim. Stop doing that.
That's why they love critical race theory so much.
Yeah. Well, if I'm a victim, then nobody can blame me for sucking at life.
Right? It's But these Virginia elections, did you ever see? Did you get a chance to see how the New Jersey governors were
Yeah,
in turn?
the governor, the Democrat did win, barely.
By what, three,
Barely.
4,000 votes or something?
It was very close, but this was the first time. Basically, they go back and forth. It seems like almost every year, or not, every election, Republican will win, Democrat will win, back and forth. It's actually a very 50-50 state if you look at it. It's definitely not a one-way state at all.
I was watching on YouTube, MSNBC, and the race baiter, the number one race baiter in the nation, Joanne Reed, right? She was saying, well, for some reason, Democrats couldn't depend on Blacks and suburban housewives to pull them out of the fire in this election. And it's like, why would we? Burn, baby, burn.
Yeah, burn, motherfucker.
Look, their first day in office, or even before that, Biden had taken the oath of office, they told the Black caucus to go join the Hispanics because they're the fastest growing people.
Oh, really?
You're telling white suburban housewives, right, that they should have no say in their kids' education. And Virginia is a state very much like Texas and Florida, that if you manage your money correctly, your wife doesn't necessarily have to work a full-time job. So she's going to be more involved in the kids' education. And then you're running for governor saying, no, parents don't have a right to be involved in their kids' education. How do you think that's going to play with white suburban housewives?
Well, and not just that. I mean, there was a woman, she was talking on, she's a Muslim Democrat, liberal Democrat. She self-described herself as a liberal Democrat Muslim. And she's like, I'm a mama bear and you're not messing with my kids. And she voted Republican. And she fought to fight other people to vote for this Republican.
Brett, I was, I saw this at the one where she said she stood outside 9 hours in the cold and rain. They hand out pamphlets and stuff.
Yep. And then there was the old woman from communist China, and she worked her butt off to get the election to win too.
Oh, I've been seeing her around a couple of places for the last couple of months. She's actually gotten quite active, bro. I mean, this is really something that hits hard to her. I saw her saying, I saw this happen in China. This is exactly how it happened. I won't be a part of it here. I'm going to fight back with every ounce of what I have. And so what gets me is you have people, you have Holocaust survivors, you have people from communist China, you have people from Venezuela, from
Cuba.
Mexico, Cuba, telling you don't go down this socialism road. This is where it leads. Democrats still keep driving that car. They still keep going, and the dummies
are getting rich off of it. They're getting rich off of it, and they're able to. They got pretty much every single media station except for Fox, but every single other one is Democrat. And like Hitler said, tell a lie long enough and loud enough, and people will believe it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm glad they have all the news stations. That's good for YouTube shows like me and you, because if they were actually good at news and just reported the news, we probably wouldn't be able to get our YouTube shows up off the ground.
That is very true. That is true. I mean, they're helping us out quite a bit.
But because of the way they are, it's been a boon for us because a lot more people are turning to YouTubers like me and you to get factual news because we bring receipts. Here's now is probably a good time. So over on Live for Today, Brandon's YouTube show is more of a lifestyle show. He talks about more life things. So I know some days I can get on your nerves with all the politics people. So go over to Brandon, lighten up a little bit, then come over and watch me on the Dan Dawson show.
Yeah, you get pissed off of his channel and come over to my channel and get happy.
Relax a little bit, then come back and get pissed off again.
Yeah. It's like the yin and the yang.
But so they have all these warnings, and they're not seeing them. They're keeping on the same course. And I wonder, we were just talking about the news. I wonder how much these mainstream news people like Joanne Reed, Rachel Maddow, Don Lemon, Cuomo, and people like Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Houston from The View are actually damaging the Democrat Party. Because if they're watching these shows and they're telling them, no, you're doing the right thing, it doesn't matter what the numbers say, they're going to keep pushing in that same direction. The squad still hasn't backed down off their abolish, not defund, abolish the police program. They still haven't backed down off their anti-Semitic hate. And I'm really just kind of wondering how much living in that little echo chamber is doing them damage.
Well, it's doing a lot of damage in Virginia is proof. That's proof. It's actually it's the start. It's the start of what's to come next year. You've got 12 months, less than 12 months now until big election time when we got like 60 available seats coming open or more in 2022. And I think we're going to take them if everybody don't get, as long as the Democrats keep being retarded and keep pushing this stupid agenda, is going to keep the Republican Party, and not just the Republicans, but the independents and even a good amount of Democrats fired up with this nonsense, and is going to push more to the ballot polls. I mean, I tried to tell people, this Democrat Party is not the Democrat Party that we grew up with. They're not the Democrat Party of the 60s. It's not, I was telling a buddy of mine, it's like, I'm more than happy to take on the rich and the powerful and fight for what's mine, and, fight for what we earned, and it's bullshit that they get to keep all this and I get to keep a little bit of this. But at the same time, these Democrats, one thing, like Joe Biden and his daddy, fucking Barack Obama, first year of Barack Obama, I voted for him. I voted for Barack Obama because he was running on health insurance for all. And my thinking that time was, you know what, I hate my job, and if Barack Obama won and he had this insurance put in that everybody could have insurance, I could quit my job and go work somewhere else. Little did I know that I could just quit my job and go work somewhere else and it'd be fine anyways. That's exactly what I did. But and then fucking here comes Biden promising everybody that he'd knock off $50,000 of the student loan debt. And I'm sure that's why he got elected, because everybody's thinking, oh, $50,000 of my student loans we wiped out. That would change my life. That would be life-changing. And he lied about it, just like Barack Obama did with health insurance. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, anything like that, those social programs have to be paid for somewhere, and they're usually extracted from the poor and middle class, because rich people have these things called accountants and attorneys. I've talked to,
they're good.
Oh, I've talked to rich people who own businesses. I had one honestly tell me, he was like, I'd rather spend $50,000 a year for an accountant and an attorney than send the government a check for $5,000. Like, okay. Okay. But no, and you're exactly right. That's now they've gone so far Nazi.
Yes.
That I don't think there's any turning back. They're going to have to shear off the entire progressive part of the Democrat Party.
I think they're going to actually, I think they're going to have to create a new party. I think that's going to eventually happen. I can see another one coming through. I mean,
I see. Andrew Yang created another party.
Which one?
Forget the name of it.
Oh yeah, Yang.
I forget the name of it, but yeah, he created another party. He doesn't want to be associated with it.
Yeah, I knew he went independent. I didn't know what it was. I can see a whole other party coming out of this nonsense, and it wouldn't be the first time that a new party has been created.
Or the old party just changes. I think I didn't know this. I've known it for a little while now, but inside of the Democratic caucus, the socialists have a caucus called the Democratic Socialist Caucus.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that. We're frozen.
Reminds me very much of the Nazi Socialist Party. Get your opinion on something. This is something I've been kind of tossing around in my head, and I'm talking about this, so I'm going to work it out with Brandon in front of you live on camera. So I got to thinking, why are the socialists so intent on abolishing police departments? You know, they've stated, Cori Bush has stated it, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and AOC, that they want to abolish the police. Now, I was thinking about this.
The National Guard.
Well, that's what I thought at first too. But I've been thinking about this hard all this week. If you abolish the police, completely get rid of them and replace them with social workers. Brandon, our old place has social workers. How they doing takedowns? Yeah, right. Now who's in control?
Yep.
Of the city? Antifa and BLM. I think the Chop Chas was their dry run at it. They decided to do it in a blue city. And I'm thinking Mayor Judy Durkin was in on it. They did a dry run to see if BLM and Antifa could control an area of a city.
Are you crawling?
Yes.
Get up. Jesus Christ. My wife is crawling on the floor just so she doesn't get caught on camera.
Tell her to get on camera, say hi.
That's funny. That was hilarious.
Tell her to get on camera and say hi.
Here we go.
Hi. How's your day going?
Very good. Very good.
That was hilarious.
I knew you were gonna say something if I did that. I was sitting here contemplating for a while.
It's like, just
Before I
get yourself.
did it.
Oh my God. This is the family channel, man.
Yeah. But I was thinking, I was like, so who would that leave in control in these blue cities? Antifa and BLM, and Soros has already put them in place to pretty much have like a police-like effect. That reeks of Nazis and the brown shirts. That's exactly
Yes, the brown shirts.
Yes.
The brown shirts. You're right. You're right.
The difference is they've been on a push. Remember Kamala Harris, when she was running for the Democratic presidential nominations, said if she was elected day one, she's getting rid of firearms. Mr. Forgetful, Joe Biden, has been trying to do the same thing since he's been in office, right? Yeah. The difference between us and Nazi Germany is Texas is 1.9 times bigger than Germany was. And two, we're still armed.
Heavily. We're freezing again.
Heavily armed.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. If Minneapolis had voted 44% of Minneapolis voted to abolish their police. But it's a blue city. So how many of that 44% actually had to show an ID or were from Minneapolis? We don't know. They might not even have been citizens of Minneapolis. Soros ships them in to vote. That's why they don't want voter ID.
Well, that was just like Georgia. Before the elections in Georgia for Trump run, they actually had things out there telling Democrats to go move to Georgia for a month or two so they could vote and then they could go back.
Yep, I remember that. Yep. And then they cry, when they lose, they cry election fraud. I don't think, who's the lady from Georgia that had from Atlanta that had the All-Star game moved out of there? Black lady, huge gap in her teeth, really stupid looking. Liberal.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember right now.
I can picture her face too.
Sorry, I'm yawning.
What was her name? Yeah, I'm getting tired too. Anyway, she still hasn't conceded the governor's race from 4 years ago. It's like, gee.
Never give up.
Right? Hillary Clinton still hasn't acknowledged that she lost the presidency. But then they always want to point back and say Trump can't even acknowledge he lost. It's like talking to kids, man. There's no point.
Yeah, there's no point. They're just gonna keep saying what they're saying because they got all the news media to back them up. And yeah, we'll just have to keep fighting. That's all all we can do because
Be
they're
careful
just
how you
hoping that
use
we
word.
eventually get tired and give up. That's what they're hoping.
Be careful how you use that word. The Department of Justice is going to be knocking at your door.
Well, no shit. Yeah, they're sending after parents at the school board meetings. I mean, God.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I watched videos of school board members in Loudoun County threatening to fight parents, telling them F you. One school board member, she threatened to slap a mother. And then when parents get mad and start threatening back, they call the cops.
Yep.
All right, brother. It looks like we're both getting tired. I'm going to do a quick, you want to do the sign off?
Sure. Hey, guys, everybody, thank you for stopping by, watching Dan and Brandon present Underground News. We really appreciate your time. Please like and subscribe. Help us get this message out to as many people as you possibly can. Share this on your social media. Share this to your liberal friends, your Democrat friends, because, hey, look, we're not your enemy. We're not the enemy of everyday Democrats. We're not even some liberals. I guarantee you, a lot of us want the exact same thing. It's just that the people in charge are not looking out for you. They're promising all this like a piece of cheese to a mouse in a trap. It's, thank you for stopping by. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Brandon. And remember, we're always open for a lively debate.
Yes. And we won't chop it up like they do on the news media and make you look like a dummy. We won't do that. I want open, honest conversation because we cannot get through this if we don't talk. I mean, if you're not talking, you're fighting. And, I'd much rather, I would prefer to talk about it if we can, because otherwise it's going to get bad. And that's not good for anybody. I mean, we couldn't even handle a toilet paper shortage. How are we going to handle a war? I mean, people can't. I mean, they lost Facebook for 6 hours and they lost their damn mind. What are they going to do if there's no food at the grocery store? Everybody's talking about having a civil war. You can't handle nothing. Let's be real, people. All right. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Brandon. All right, brother.
Bye-bye.
Give me a call really quick.
I will.